The star of Skin Decision, Before and After on Netflix, Israel activist Dr. Sheila Nazarian, along with a spokesperson for the Israeli consulate in New York, former Israeli diplomat Shahar Azani. Thank you both for coming on. I want to play some sound if I can. This is Congressman Jared Moskowitz. He's a Democrat in Florida today on Your World. Watch.
I hope that they're going to enforce this. You can't set a red line like Colombia did a couple of days ago and then did not enforce it. Now's the time for enforcement. So I hope that's what we're going to hear.
Yeah, and Dr. Nazarian, we were just talking about this with Grayson here. I mean, they keep putting these red lines. There's no consequences. There are some in Texas. There's some arrests being made in some of these colleges, but a lot of them there's not.
Trace, I have to tell you, I went to Columbia undergrad. I went to USC for residency and the Marshall School at USC as well. So I feel like my two alma maters are front and center. This did not start 3 months ago. This has been going on for 10 years at Columbia University. I have been asked to donate. For 10 years, I've been telling them, you have an anti-Semitism problem on campus, and they have not listened. This isn't about them enforcing things now. This has been a long-term problem at Columbia University. But you're right. Look at many other schools. Look at the schools in Florida. They put their foot down. They ended things in one day. In Texas, it's possible. The will has to be there. We've seen for the last 10 years that the will may not be there.
It's funny because she makes a good point here, Shahar. She's talking about 10 years happening. And Jonathan Turley wrote a great piece about how these left-leaning professors have been kind of spewing similar hate. It goes on to say, quote, "We saw professors advocating detonating white people, denouncing police, calling for Republicans to suffer, strangling police officers, celebrating the death of conservatives, calling for the killing of Trump supporters, supporting the murder of conservative protesters, and other outrageous statements." I mean, and these people are still working on college campuses.
They absolutely do. And you know, Trace, the big issue here is that our Jewish students out there are suffering. I spoke with some of them today, and they told me how hesitant they are, almost crying in tears, to go to a campus where they quoted were unwelcome. And at the same time, they attend classes where professors are giving incentives to students to partake in these hateful encampments as part of their classes. This is an unacceptable reality. And going back to what you just said, Trace, it's all about consequences. We need to see these administrations act or to see consequences from the federal government where funding will be negated for these campuses.
You worry if they're afraid of consequences, though, because you put up the CNN poll, view of Biden handling of the Israel-Hamas war, approved 28%, disapproved 71%. That disapproved number is very big.
Thank God. I mean, you can't with one breath say I support Israel and with the other breath lift sanctions off of Iran. Give direct payments to Iran, enrich Iran by over $100 billion since you came into presidency. Which one is it? Do you support Israel or do you support the people funding terrorism against Israel?
Yeah, and she makes a good point. Shahar, I just wanted to say, is it a leadership problem at these universities?
It is a clear leadership problem, and here is a great time to remember that what starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews. And the Jews have always been the canary in the mine, and what starts with free Palestine may very quickly deteriorate to free Chicago and free Minneapolis. And this is what we should all be aware of. Yep.
Yeah, they've become very
it already
anti-American.
has. I mean, they're saying in one breath ceasefire, and in the other breath they're saying bomb Tel Aviv, death to America, NYPD's KKK.
Yep.
This isn't like them singing Kumbaya, holding hands, swaying on the quad in Columbia.
Yeah.
They're screaming for violence, but then saying they're peace protesters.
Right, looking for peace, screaming for violence. Dr.
There is a reason why my pin has the U.S. and the Israeli flag on it, and so are all of our demonstrations are.
Shahar Azani, thank you both. We appreciate it.
Thank you.